for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
The internet's just gone to fucking hell, hasn't it? It really has. It's finished. And I'm all for jokes, especially dark jokes, but taking the piss out of a woman for her mourning her murdered husband? Is that where it is now, is it? Fucking hell. And this woman has actually got a picture of what looks like a happy couple in the background. I'm guessing it on a wedding day by the looks of it. Assuming it's her and her husband, unless she's got a resort to taking random pictures off the internet and post them on her fucking wall, because no one would ever fucking want to marry a bitch like her. Let's just say that's her and her husband, right? Which it probably is. Imagine you look at a TikTok and you're a fella and you're like, what the fuck are you taking the piss out of a woman who's mourning her husband? What's wrong with you? If you're married to a woman as like this, you got problems, mate. Anyway, I never thought I'd cover the whole Charlie Kirk thing after the funeral. It was a very interesting event. I mean, a lot happened. I thought it was worth covering, and I just wanted to leave it there because the guy's passed on, and when people keep making videos out of something like this, it gets a bit tacky, and I had no intention of making another video. However, the information that the internet, as it always does, is digging up about this assassination, the level of questions that we've been left with is fucking mind-blowing. And again, the official story looks less and less likely to be true. Let's start with the fact that apparently there's no exit wound for the bullet that went into Charlie. I have seen so many of these hunting guys online saying there is no fucking way where a bullet like that goes into a big giant animal even, it doesn't have an exit wound, let alone a human neck that is much smaller. There's no way this is possible. Here's what the Guns and Gear channel had to say about it.
If you were just to ask me how probable is it that this story happened the way it's being reported by the FBI as well as the folks at TPUSA, I would say it is very low but not impossible. So just to put a number on it, right? So if this type of scenario happened 1,000 times, right? All the same factors that we're talking about, the angle, flesh, neck, etc. If all these things happened 1,000 times, I would expect to see a result like this maybe 1 or 2 times, possibly. Maybe. It's very unlikely that a bullet with the power of 30-06, which is a very powerful round, would not blow completely through and leave an exit wound.
And this guy is the more conservative, the more open-minded, like anything's possible kind of guy. Of all the other guys who I watched said there is no fucking way that would have happened. Even in the comments of this video, they're saying no fucking way. There was a guy who hunted for like 40 years using this exact ammunition, hit big animals over and over and over again, said it always goes all the way through, is no matter how big these animals are. Now, one explanation for this may be the fact that the entry point of Charlie's wound was not where we thought it was. You see, some people are speculating that the actual wound that we seen was the exit wound, not the entry wound. And I'll be honest, when I first seen this video, I thought, oh, I can't be arsed with this conspiracy shit this time. Like, I just want to believe it, the normal story, the lone gunman, and just be done with this. But the more you watch this video, the worse it looks. So if I press play here, you see the bullet flashes, then the reaction as it enters Charlie's body, allegedly. So on this angle, you can see a bit further out, you see the bullet appear on the screen here. You then see it enter Charlie, and then as it goes through Charlie, it turns up right here. Just to show how, if you reverse it a little bit, there you go, nothing. And then it enters at the bottom of the screen. So potentially that actually makes more sense than the official story. And there's a lot of people online now starting to say he was definitely shot from behind because that's the only logical explanation for all of this.
All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right. Now, including this little blood splatter that we can see here against the white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Most of them require 12 to 14 to 16 inches even sometimes of tissue to expand properly.
I get the point he's making in that when you're shooting through a big fleshy animal, the longer the distance to travel from the bullet of entry point to the exit point, the more everything expands and the more damaging it comes as it exits the animal, which is usually why an exit wound is just way worse than an entry wound. And still, all of that blood coming out of the front could also add up to the fact that that is an exit wound. I'm not saying I know that for a fact because I'm not, a lot of these guys, they do this every fucking day, but everything I've been listening to at least makes me think it's possible. And a lot of these guys are convinced.
You see the blood right here, dripping out of his head from the entry wound. And the bullet is coming from here down through here, okay? Hit play. And there it goes.
Fucking mental, because the points he's making do add up. Whether or not he's 100% right, well, I don't know. But his working out that he's showing, it looks right.
This guy's talking about this bush up here in the top left of this photo, and he zooms in on it, and he's stating that it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious. It looks like there is a person right here, and it looks like there is a rifle right here that the person is holding, a hand here, support hand.
Possible, not absolute, but possible.
Very blurry image, but you can clearly make out that this is not just a bush. This is a human skin tone right here, and this correlates with a human head and hair and a rifle in the exact kind of crucifix shape of an AR-15 with an optic on it.
I can't fucking lie. When he's showing this guy here and then that there, I'm like, yeah, that's very possible. Very fucking possible.
This would 100% line up with the actual shot that we've now proven was not taken from the front, was taken from the back side of Charlie. This would line up exactly with that bullet trajectory and the entry and exit wound that we exhibited, that we saw here on camera.
Fucking mental. Honestly. Now we've got another picture of the whole setup here. This is the bush that he was referring to in the video. Here is, down here is where Charlie was, obviously, and that angle is the side-on shot / behind him. And then above that, people are speculating that this also might be a shooter. If that's just a bush, then what is this up here? From another angle here, again, you see, could that be someone with a gun pointed at Charlie? And then after the shot is taken and everyone's hit the deck, there is no one there anymore. There is nothing. Whatever that was has all of a sudden moved. Now, again, if that was just a thing that someone had left up there, why would it have just disappeared after the shot was taken? And just for context, this green dot is where Charlie would have been roughly. And obviously we see this is where the green bush is. And then on top of that building is also another opportunity where someone could have been perched. Now, if it wasn't an alternative shooter, could it have been an inside job from Charlie's own team, his own security? That is what one guy online is speculating, saying that the microphone that he was wearing is what actually did the damage. I know, it's fucking mental. Fucking hell.
Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers. Now we have exploding mics.
In 2025, can I imagine that they could make an exploding microphone to hurt someone? Absolutely. Like if you're at the highest level, that would be very easy, I'm sure. But for my brain, it just sounds very James Bond. And it does sound a little bit hard to believe, even though like we've got fucking drones flying around, like dropping bombs now. Like, what the fuck? Like, of course it's possible. The one thing this guy and a lot of the other guys do agree on is that it was an exit wound that we've seen at the front.
Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Counting gang violence. Great.
This is fucking mental, isn't it? Like, this is absolutely mad. It could just be that he adjusts his shirt right as the guy takes a shot. Now, the footage that they claim plays into this whole exploding lapel mic theory is right after Charlie hits the deck. The camera's pointed at the desk. So he dives over the desk here. Now, they're saying he grabs something, probably the lapel mic, puts it in his pocket. He's putting something in his pocket. I don't know what the fuck it is. Then he walks over to the guy who we've just seen adjust his shirt. This is the guy who adjusted his shirt before. Watch closely, they're saying. And there is some exchange here between the two. There is something handed off between the two of them. This for me is hardly solid evidence, but I think it's interesting, especially the fact of like when a guy gets shot and he hits the deck and it's, you know, the guy who you're supposed to be security for. It's a weird way to behave that. Why are you handing things to each other when there's a guy on the floor bleeding out? Like it's very strange. And maybe there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for it. Who knows? Now, one person who has some questions about this is Candace Owens. And usually I'd never put her clips on my channel because I think she just looks for conspiracies even when there's nothing there, because she just likes to keep people watching her live streams and all of that. But in this instance, people have genuinely gone to her because she is kind of connected to Charlie Kirk, and she seems to be getting a bit of information that might be of some use. So one thing that could really help us is this footage that this guy who worked with Charlie apparently took down from the camera behind him. He takes this camera down and takes the SIM card out by the looks of it. Now, the maddest thing is that was the chair that Charlie was sitting in when he got shot. This is a crime scene. And he works at Turning Point and he's just fucking around with it. Like, when it's a crime scene, you want to preserve everything possible. And it's a bit weird that he would just be meddling and standing on things and all of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want no one to touch anything at that point. So there are questions about that. And if there's one person that you kind of don't want to get involved when there's questions, it's Candace Owens, because she will just look for a conspiracy theory when there's just an empty paper bag there. But the thing with Candace is she does have connections to Turning Point, and people do seem to be reaching out to her. So unfortunately, we got to hear what she's got to say, because she got in touch with them to find out what the fuck was on that footage.
And I reach out to somebody on the inside and I'm just like, who's this person? And they tell me the person's name and I go, wait a second. And I look again, I'm like, I know this person, because it's been a few years, but I know this person.
Brilliant. You're going to be able to tell us what the hell was on that footage immediately then. Fantastic.
For years, like I said, back when I was working at Turning.
We don't need to know your life story. Just tell us what was on the footage.
I'm going to reach out and I'm going to say, hey, what's up with this? Where is this footage? Why did you do this? What were you doing up there on the rocks?
Just get to the point, lass.
He was extremely forthcoming. Like, as soon as I reached out, I just sent a text.
Oh, man, we don't need to know what you did, man. Just fucking get to the point.
Obviously, he's seeing all of these clips going viral.
Dude, I just want to know what was on the footage, man. Come on.
He is fearful for his family.
I'm fast forwarding it. Let's see how far we've got to go. What we are? 7:30, right? 8:30. See if you got the point.
Hand that footage over to the feds. Well, obviously, that's where things get into a pickle with me, because we don't trust the feds, right? I'm like, no, we don't trust the feds. So we don't got to do that.
No can do. I'm afraid you're going to have to give it to me because I'm more important than the feds.
I'm like, just send me the footage. Please let me look at it. There's a lot of conspiracies.
We don't need to listen to all of this. Just tell us what was on the fucking footage. Sorry, I'm getting really like, oh God, get to the point.
People are doing very, what I would say, credible videos. People that certainly ballistics experts that are saying that what we see in the front is an exit wound, not an entry wound. I don't know one way or the other.
What was on the footage?
I'm getting inundated with messages from people that hunt, people that are in the military, saying that this had to have come from another direction. This footage could help.
We're talking about the assassination of one of her friends, and even still, she just longs it out for all the views and all the fucking nonsense. Come on, man. I'm going to fast forward it a bit more.
But I said, look, I'm not going to publish it. I just want to see it. And I think you should let me see that, because people trust me. They know that I'm very serious about this. I don't care about anything right now other than figuring out who killed Charlie Kirk. So in the short run, he agrees that rather than send the footage, he will get onto a FaceTime call with me.
I'm just losing my mind.
I watched the footage and I'm going to tell you what I saw.
You could have done that 5 minutes ago. Oh, anyway.
You might be able to add more color or more clarity here. What you would expect to see if given the weapon that they have said did this, the bullet they have said did this. I don't know anything about any of this.
Yes.
First and foremost, there is nothing gory about this shot at all.
All of that for that 5 fucking minutes I've been waiting.
I am still going to work with him to get me the footage so that
just fucking finish your sentence.
The thing that really stood out to me, and I just kept asking him to replay it over and over and over again, is that there's no blood. There's no blood from the back.
So there's no blood from the back, There's a lot of blood from the front. Stereotypically, from everything I've read up on, the entry point has less blood than the exit point, which, again, after we finally get to the fucking point, does line up to the fact that it might be that the wound that we're seeing with the blood that we're seeing was, in fact, the exit point. Thank you, Candace. Now, the other thing that Candace did actually manage to get her hands on is information about this footage here, which is apparently of the shooter, meaning the government's version of events shooter, where Tyler Robinson was apparently perched on top of the building. She spoke to the guy who took this footage, pretty much the only footage that shows Tyler Robinson. It doesn't actually prove it was Tyler Robinson in any way, shape or form, to be honest. And she asked some questions about what did the guy actually look like? And it really contradicts everything we're being told about the FBI.
So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa, from over there, ran in.
That's fucking mental that he was filming that before the actual shot took place. That is wild.
And I don't want to give too many identifying details here, but this person himself has a lot of experience with guns and knows guns and, helps to train people in that sort of a capacity.
Okay, so the guy who took the footage actually has training and trains people in shooting, is what she's saying here. Which is probably why he spotted someone on the fucking roof, because he's probably thinking a bit differently to the average person. And now, a word from our sponsors. What if I told you that your online information could be publicly accessible very easily right now? I'm sure you've heard about the Online Safety Act that's just been brought in the UK. This thing is making us verify our age on pretty much every website that's even worth going on, especially the fun ones. Now, the problem with this is we all know how easy it is for these third-party companies to get hacked. Next thing you know, your private information is in the hands of all the wrong people, and who knows what damage they could do. The good news is that Incogni is here to save the day, and they can help by removing all of your private and personal information from the internet. Just click the link in the description below and you can get 60% off your annual plan now. And I've mentioned before that these data brokers who are scouring the internet for your personal information, they're looking for your email, your full name, your address, and anything else they can get their hands on. And best case scenario, you get hassled with sales calls. Worst case scenario, they run a bunch of scams and try and get your money. We hear about it all the time where people have bank cards taken out in their names and all sorts. It's mental. But Incogni stop all that by reaching out to these data brokers and making sure that your information is deleted. And they can also look into any specific website you want where your personal information is and get it removed. It's really easy to use. All you got to do is open your account, tell them whose information it is that you want removed from online, grant them permission to work on your behalf, sit back and relax, and they will keep you updated along the way. And the best thing is, it's risk-free for 30 days, so you can try it, and if you don't want it after the first month, you can get a full refund. So take back control of your data now and get 60% off your annual plan when you click the link in the description below. Go to incogni.com/Geordie and make sure you're protected now.
The FBI saying that the shooter dropped onto the roof at 12:15 didn't make sense to him. He said earliest it was 12:22. That the individual ran across, set up, took the shot. And I said, well, you must have been there, because he then sends me I wanted to see all of the metadata of when he took that footage. And the metadata begins at 12:22 and goes into 12:23, the very minute that Charlie gets shot. And he says, yeah, I saw the shot. I had just stopped recording about 20 seconds before the shot rang out. And he said that he told them a description of what the shooter looked like. And it was not the description that the entire world received less than 24 hours later of this person, Tyler Robinson, wearing jeans. I said, was he wearing jeans? He said, no. Actually, this person was dressed in tactical gear and he was wearing a face mask. And he said, according to him, and like I said, he has a lot of experience with guns, that this person looked to him like a foreign agent. I don't know if he's wearing all black, how he got that, but he said he was very certain that this person was skilled, knew exactly what he was doing, and was highly trained, like a highly trained assassin, so to speak.
The whole get-up, the tactical gear, the face mask, that definitely differs from what the official story we've been told. The Tyler Robinson story doesn't sound like a guy with tactical gear and a face mask and like fully prepared for all of this. The guy had his granddad's rifle, apparently. And I know there was a change of clothes and whatnot, but this isn't adding up here. And there's a lot of weird shit coming out about this right now. There's that old dude that everyone thought did it initially because he was like, it was me. The longer this goes on, the more it looks like he was planted there because they knew exactly what they were going to do and they needed a distraction, a decoy. This is him here.
LA aim, bro. That's L.A., bro.
Now, there's footage of him in the crowd. It's hard to make out, but he stands up here and he starts making a big ruckus. No one else is doing that. It's really weird that he immediately sprung into action, like, right, now's my time to shine. And obviously, people have done their digging on him. And the history of this guy is bizarre.
What are the odds that George Zinn, the patsy that was arrested at the Charlie Kirk assassination, also saw 9/11, he saw the planes fly into the buildings and called that in and reported it, and then he also called in a fake terrorist attack at the Boston Marathon bombing, and just so happened to get arrested at Charlie Kirk's event. So Tess Keyser, she responded to this tweet and she says, Grok is a guy really involved in all three events like this post claims. And Grok fact checks it and goes, based on a review of multiple sources, George Zinn was a witness to the 9/11 attacks, and he described seeing planes hit the towers. He was also arrested in 2013 for emailing a bomb threat joke to the Salt Lake City Marathon shortly after the Boston bombing. He pled guilty to a terrorism charge and somehow magically only received probation. He was also detained and questioned as a person of interest at the Charlie Kirk assassination on September 10th, 2025, but released without charges relating to the shooting.
So as unlikely as it is that he was magically at all three of those massive events in American history, we're talking billions to one there. A lot of people would obviously like to interview him. Why did you do that? What were you doing there? Why did you immediately say it was you? We can't interview him because he's been arrested for something else and he's in custody because they found dodgy shit on his computer. So we can't talk to him. We can't find out how he knew or what he knew. We can't find any of that out because he's in police custody. Will he be released like he was when he made that bomb threat? Who knows? But if I was trying to orchestrate an assassination, you'd absolutely want a guy waving his arms in the middle saying it was me, it was me. You'd absolutely want that. And it just adds more questions. More weird news as Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, his trans partner has allegedly fled their home. Now, potentially, he's just being kept by the police in a safe space to avoid being, hounded by the press or worse. But one thing I think after looking at their email exchange or their text exchange after the shooting where he told his partner that, oh, it was me, you fucking knew the whole time what was going to happen, in my opinion. That trans partner was fully in the knowledge of it because the text message exchange was so fake, so forced and scripted and so unnatural. And even the reactions, if someone goes and does that, you're a lot more shocked than what I was reading there. That trans partner knew everything that was going down that day and was fully in the knowledge of it. And they belong in jail as well. And as if things couldn't be even more weirder, we've got black magic involved in the death of Charlie Kirk. I mean, fucking hell. Megyn Kelly did a story on an article that was published on a fucking, I don't know, some weird news site I've never even heard of before called Jezebel. Apparently one of their writers contacted witches to put a curse on Charlie Kirk. And the article came out like a couple of days before the shooting about how she'd reached out to these witches. And considering what happened, it's just really bizarre.
The witch servicing Jezebel on Etsy contacted the writer and asked if she would like to, quote, amplify the energetic support of the spell for an extra $50. She did it. She goes on, for the powerful hex spell, I had to provide Kirk's date of birth for accuracy.
As much as I like watching Megyn Kelly, because she's all right, you know what I mean? This is too weird for me. But the saddest thing is obviously we know Charlie Kirk was a huge Christian and then a spiritual guy. Apparently he got wind of this, and him and his wife, the night before he was killed, were really worried about this whole witchcraft because they take this shit very seriously. I think they even got in touch with it, like a priest, someone like that, and they were trying to do things to combat this. To be doing that and dealing with that in your house the night before, and then he goes out and dies the next day, that would fuck you up on another level. 100%. Because you're going to be wondering for the rest of your life, like, this is some Game of Thrones shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is mental. And was it this witch? And I know logically, a lot of people go, come on. I'm just saying from their point of view, though, it really bothered them. Megyn Kelly has confirmed that. God bless Megyn Kelly. And there's another conspiracy going around that this is all like Illuminati level shit where you know how they tell you things are going to happen way in advance in the movies? Well, apparently that's been previewed. In the movie Snake Eyes, the character Charles Kirkland, quite close to Charlie Kirk, gets shot from a gun in the exact same spot as Charlie Kirk did. And apparently the executioner is called Tyler. This is the guy here. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of things people have read into about this. I mean, we could be here. This is a video on its own, to be honest. And the thing that just won't go away in explaining how this happened is Charlie's interactions and opinions of Israel.
I'm told that by some people that if I criticize AIPAC, I'm anti-Semitic.
I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. I feel like it's great to have a concern for your country.
Do you think that that AIPAC represents, again, I'm not saying I believe this, but I think this is what you're saying, that it represents a kind of cutting in line of prioritization away from the American people?
Yes.
Would you guys say that's a fair summary? 100%. Meaning that, like, okay, we vote, we're citizens, but a separate group gets higher priority because of whatever reasons.
So that was one part of it, that Charlie was asking the question, is it right that Israel takes such a high priority from American politicians? Then there was the allegations that Netanyahu and Charlie Kirk's relationship, which was once apparently pretty good, had become strained, in that Charlie was making more and more of these comments. Allegedly, he was offered a shitload of money, like 150 fucking million of investment, to jump on the money train and to do what he was told of it. And apparently Charlie Kirk said no. And when it came to Netanyahu coming to America and doing all these podcasts, he didn't go on Charlie Kirk's podcast, which was a sign of where their relationship was. And there's just a lot of people speculating that that was basically a take the money or face the consequences. And I'm not saying I believe that. But if someone is willing to offer you 150 million, they're pretty desperate. Now, I think this is the last video I'm going to make on Charlie Kirk. At least I hope it is for a while. I wouldn't mind making one of those reaction videos to his clips because I find them really interesting and they're really divisive and I like tackling, you know, topics like that. But let me know if anything you've seen in this video has swayed you away from the government's version of events. Do you still think it's Tyler on the roof and using his granddad's gun and makes the shot and then runs off and happens to go for some ice cream later on and is captured on CCTV? Because that's what you do when you're on the run on a worldwide, nationwide manhunt, apparently. I do wonder about that. Or do you think he was hit from maybe something more elite level, something that, you know, someone from the side, someone from behind, whatever? Do you not believe the government's version of events now? Let me know in the comments below if you made it to the end of the video. Big love, appreciate it. I hope you appreciate that this video is not meant to be made in bad taste or anything like that, but there's just some really weird stuff going on around this. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the True Geordie YouTube channel. I'll see you on the next one.